If you want to be able to share your table with somebody else, in other words, you want them to look at it, but they don't have the Access program installed on their computer, so you can't send them your database, what you can do instead is export your table into either an XPS or PDF file format. The XPS is a Microsoft format that allows you to open it up. That is, if you have the XPS viewer installed on your computer, which comes with most of Microsoft's latest operating systems, Windows 7 and Windows 8. To go ahead and export this as an XPS file, then select the table that you want to export, come up here and click on the External Data tab, go over to the Export group, and there you go, PDF or XPS. Click on it, opens up the window. Let me click and drag this to center it. Over in the navigation pane, I want to select the desktop so I can publish it to the desktop. But before I do that, you can change the file type and say you want to export it as PDF or XPS. First of all, XPS. You can change the file name if you want, but I'll leave it as TBL Computers and click Publish. Automatically opens up the XPS viewer, and you can look at the contents of the table therein, or the records for the table. You only have two, so hey, that was pretty simplistic. Go ahead and close out, and that is on my desktop, which we'll go to in just a second. And then when it came to exporting the table, it can save the steps for the export, which it didn't really require that many steps. You'll find out later on when it comes to importing and exporting, it may be more step intensive, where you can actually check boxes of those fields that you want to export or import. Since this was so simplistic, I'm not going to save it because it's just as easy to come here on the External Data tab to begin the export wizard and to take as many steps as simply as going to, well, saving this as the export steps. So we'll click Close. I won't check the box. If we did save it, it would be here, where I can go ahead and click on Save Exports, select that, and then go ahead and export it with all the steps that I would have gone through if it was something that was more complex, but this is pretty simplistic. So if I minimize the window down to the taskbar on my desktop, there it is, TBL Computers with the .xps extension, meaning that it's an XPS document. It tells the operating system what program to open up the file in, which is going to be the XPS viewer. If you don't know anything about extensions, you can watch my Windows training video on extensions and find out why you probably can't see them on your computer as opposed to seeing them on mine. You can make them viewable or you can hide them. So since it's right there, double click, opens up the XPS viewer. Let me go ahead and close out of that, come back down to the taskbar, click on the corresponding button for the window that restores it back up. Select the table, come back up here to External Data, to export, again PDF or XPS, in which case I can make the choice by clicking on the Save As Type arrow to PDF, which is a program called Acrobat created by Adobe. You can go to adobe.com and download their free program to be able to view Acrobat PDF files. It's a free program. So to go ahead and export this as a PDF file, select it. Let's navigate to the desktop over in the navigation window. You can see the desktop's over here. Go ahead and click Publish. Opens it up in Adobe Acrobat's program, and there you go. Go ahead and close out. Again, we don't need to save the steps. Click Close unless you want to. Minimize that down to the taskbar. There's PDF, there's XPS. So if the person has the latest operating systems, Windows 7, Windows 8, it may be available in earlier operating systems, they can open it up in XPS. And XPS doesn't give you too much functionality with it as opposed to PDF, because PDF allows you to go ahead and add notes, highlight text, a little bit more fancy than the XPS file format. Let's go ahead and close out. You see two records there. To show you that I'm not bluffing, let's restore this and open up the computers table, and we've got the two records there. All the records that were there have been exported to both those file types.